Welcome to another episode of Throne Mastermind Sessions. The session is beginning. All members are now expected to assume position on their throne.
Welcome to another episode of Throne Mastermind Sessions. This is Eli Markus. This is a lecture that I'm going to be speaking on today called Field of Reality. Field of Reality. And the purpose of this lecture is really to present a method of mindset mastery. As many of you know, I have many students. I teach students, I counsel students one-on-one. I do a lot of sessions with students. So I'm always hearing different things that some of my students are going through in life, some of the different mental challenges that they're facing that's having a tremendous impact on how they navigate life and how they relate to reality. So we're going to really dive into your relationship with reality, field of reality. I was talking to a student recently, and this has been something I've heard from many people actually, where sometimes they're hunted with memories from the past. They're hunted with things that think negative things that people may be saying about them, um, maybe about something that an embarrassing thing they did in the past, or a project or business that failed, or a period in their history. Maybe it was through college, high school, perhaps in their professional life, a period in their history that they're not proud of, or it's not that they're not proud of it, but there's a certain narrative, a negative narrative that a network of people believe and repeat that has somehow traumatized the person, that has somehow that creates mental anguish for them in their reality. And they pull on these memories. Sometimes they play it in their mind, and of course it generates negative emotions, it generates negative thoughts, it creates insecurities or fuels insecurities. It makes them feel less confident to take action in their present day. And it may even unconsciously cause them to inflict unjust negative tension and behaviors on other people in ways that they may not even recognize. That's a field of reality. And I was telling my student who was faced with this challenge of sometimes pulling on these different negative memories from their past or throughout their life, I said, well, that's a field of reality. And I said, let's look at it this way. Every single thing that could be thought about you, negative and positive, is thought about you. Let's go ahead and accept that face forward. Let's accept that at face value. Every single thing that someone could think about you, there is someone out there that would think that about you if you showed up in their reality. Think of every negative thing about you, every embarrassing, every insecurity you have. I don't care what type of insecurity it is. If it's dealing with weight, if it's dealing with hair, if it's dealing with your financial status, if it's dealing with some embarrassing thing you did in the past, if it's dealing with whatever, there's millions of things you can think of. If it's dealing with your forehead, the way your body looks, if it's dealing with a handicap, if it's dealing with a failed relationship, maybe someone embarrassed you in one of your relationships, if it's dealing with someone slept with your man or woman, I don't care what you can think of. Maybe you have reading issues, whatever it is, there is someone who would think that about you. There is someone who will observe that and find it humorous, find it funny. Go ahead and face that forward, even if you're not certain or sure. Now, the same is true that every positive perception about you, there is a vessel out there in the world that would only perceive that positive perception about you, or that would mostly perceive a positive perception about you. Now, let's compartmentalize this. And there is a field of reality where the perception of you will be mostly negative. There's a field of reality where the perception of you might be some negative, some positive, but it's both quite impactful in its own way. It keeps you in the middle. There's also a field of reality where the majority perception about you and experience of you is positive. is positive. It's Karen or it's John is a very charming, nice person. He's a very reliable person. She's a very caring, loving person. She's always helpful, or she's very talented. Her skill sets. There's a field of reality where people would hyper focus on your gifts and your skill sets and your contribution because they can see you in ways that other fields of reality may not be able to see you. So when we talk about field of reality, what we're really talking about is like a network of people who match a certain frequency, a certain vibration, a certain sequence of behavior patterns within them. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about a field of reality. It's about frequency matching, behavior pattern matching. When you imagine a radio, when we turn to a certain radio, it's a certain frequency that's connecting the radio to a radio station. It's a very exact frequency that connects it where you can only hear that radio station. So now that we know that there is a spectrum of reality, we're on this spectrum, and for purposes of demonstration and illustration, we'll say there are 10 different stations. On station 1 is the most negative perception that an entire field of reality would have about you. It's the worst perception about you that a field of reality would have about you. It's every negative thing you've ever done in your life. It's every negative perception, every negative narrative. It's cherry picking out your life and out your characteristics and focusing on your shadows, focusing on your unevolved areas, focusing on your anything that's a misperception about you even. There's a field of reality that would only focus on the negative aspects of your humanity, even if it's not true, even if some of those perceptions are not true. That's on number 1 station on this spectrum of reality. On number 10 of this spectrum of reality is the most positive perception of you, even if some of those ideas are misperceptions or exaggerated perception. It's the absolute most positive perception about your humanity and about how others experience you. Here's my point. You get to choose what station you want to plug into. And when I say you plug into a station, I'm literally saying by you controlling your own behavior patterns consciously and your own thoughts consciously, you get to tap into the field of reality that you desire. You just have to know how big the world is. And when you know how big the world is, you assign a different relevancy score on negative perception about you that does not have to impact or influence your reality today, present day. See, when you think the world is small and you think the world is it's just the network of people that you've encountered in your short life, and that's what you believe your world is, that's the capacity of your world, then you will mistakenly assign it a higher relevancy score than it deserves and than it is, based on the potential timeline you have left in this lifetime, and based on the population in this world that hasn't even met you yet, doesn't even know you yet, because you're not showing up in that reality. And you're only not showing up in that reality because your pattern of behaviors is dialed in on level 1, on station 1, or on station 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. I don't know how bad your situation is in terms of which field of reality you're dialed into. But when you're in a field of reality, usually everyone that you encounter in that reality is within a certain frequency range. They're very close in proximity in terms of the frequency that they're projecting in their pattern of behaviors, their pattern of thoughts, in their perception, their general communal perception of the world, and their general judgment of people, and the reasons why they judge people the way they judge them. It doesn't make them bad people, because even in station 1, right? You might, in your field of reality, station 1, it might be the most negative perception that communal network has about you, it doesn't mean they're bad people. They might be quite decent people, and they might have great perceptions of other people in that field of reality. But for whatever reason, the ingredient of you, the ingredient of your humanity and of your personal expression is not compatible with that reality to the extent that the general communal judgment of your humanity is low. It's a negative perception for whatever reason. It could be decent people, could be doctors and lawyers and people who have great character, people who go to church, people who pray, people who are spiritualists, or people who are intellectuals and they're scientists. It could be great people. Doesn't mean they're bad people. Because I want to make that clear too. Because it's not about a judgment against them. It's about understanding your own ingredient, your own who you are and what your purpose is and what your path is. Sometimes your path is so incompatible, your soul path and where you are, quote unquote, supposed to be in terms of your highest potential in this lifetime and your highest path in this lifetime is incompatible with the field of reality that you are currently operating in. Understand? So it's not about making those people bad people, negative people. Woe is me. They are just so judgmental. No, you are not in the correct field of reality that is compatible with your soul path. But we jump into that by focusing on your own pattern of behaviors, because that's going to be a question that people ask. Well, how do I change that, Eli? How do I match my pattern of behaviors to my proper field of realities? It's already in you, is my answer. You already know the answer, even if you're not conscious of it. What are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your visions? What do you want to do that you're not doing? Where in your life have you chosen not to take action out of fear? Because there's always something there, because the energetics never lie. Usually your level of fear controlling your life, controlling your choices is going to match the field of reality that you're in and how you experience that reality for you personally. Every time you don't make a move that would honor your personal evolution, there's a price to pay. It comes at a cost. And that cost is usually reduced treatment by your general life experiences and general perception in the field of reality that you chose to stay in unconsciously. But there is a reality for those of you who might be going through this, who might be at a lower field of reality and you're feeling very negative and you feel like the people you're around, or they're misunderstanding you, or they're judging you, or they're cherry picking the worst things about you, and they're making it a truth about you instead of seeing your gifts. They're hyper focusing on every perceived deception about you instead of the gifts of you. For those of you who are at that lower range, you're at like a 5 or below in terms of your field of realities. You're at a station 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. Right? There's somewhere in your life where you have chosen not to take action. There are choices that would honor your personal evolution where you chose not to move forward out of fear, perhaps fear of judgment, fear of failure, perhaps fear that you won't have enough resources to complete it. But there is a reality that exists. Glory. There is a reality that exists where your life experience would be totally different if you just show up. There is a communal network that exists. And when I talk about communal networks, I don't want you to just think geographically, because it transcends a geographic connection, right? Because you could be in like the same geographic location and switch from a station 1 to your station 10 field of reality, where you're getting the best experience. And the only thing you change was how you move. The only thing you changed was your schedule. The only thing you changed was actually applying for that position that you actually did want. It could be changing subtle things in your field, in your behavior patterns, that completely changes the station and you're still geographically at the same location. Or, of course, it could require that you're at a different geographic location when you change. Only you know that answer. It's different for every person. But we're talking about field of realities. So my point for those of you who are in lower end field of realities and you're having a very negative experience in your reality, there is a reality, a field of reality that exists that matches a certain frequency where there is a communal network. There are people, places, and things that would have a general positive effect, impact, and perception of you that would see your gift and that would harmonize with you, that will harmonize with your contribution and your personal expression to the world. That would literally, it's like leveraging the atmosphere to achieve your goal instead of having to do it on your own. You know, when you're trying to like fly a kite in the air, it sure does help when you have a wind that's blowing, right? It helps when you got wind blowing to help you fly that kite. You need the wind to leverage the wind. That's the difference when you're in a desirable field of reality for you specifically. That's the difference, is you get to leverage the people, places, and things that are already in sync and in harmony with your natural personal expression, with your gifted personal expression, or with a skill set that you acquire, contribution to a goal or purpose and to a function. And because you can leverage it, it's easy. Glory. It's easy to be great. It's easy to be excellent. It's easy to be you because you have the support of a community. You have a support of the atmosphere. You have the support of the energetic surrounding you. But when you're in an undesirable field of reality, station 1, station 2, station 3, station 4, station 5, ain't much going on in station 6 or 7 either, you know? It might be a little bit better, but it's not much going on. But when you're in an undesirable field of reality, you're not able to leverage the energetics surrounding you, people, places, things, circumstances, things that just happen, random things that just occur. In fact, it's working in direct opposition to your objective, the lower the field of reality that you are in. Glory. It's working against you. It's like putting a bad engine into a car. It's like two metal pieces just rubbing up, bouncing up against each other, corroding each other. You're working in opposition. The energetics in that field of reality is in opposition to your natural personal expression and path. Because you're in the incorrect, improper, incompatible field of reality. Understand? We're talking about fields of reality. This is the advice I gave a student recently. And I said, you know what? I got to put this on video. I have to like record this lesson because so many people need it. Because they need to understand that you don't have to tap in and tune in to that field of reality. You don't have to hear the most negative storylines about you. And you don't have to constantly think about all the negative things people may or may not be saying about you. That does not have to haunt you. When you understand how big the world is, and you understand that every perspective there is to have about you, a person either has it about you or they would have it about you if you show up in that field of reality. Glory. Even we look at these politicians. These politicians, at every point, half the country hates them, no matter who gets elected into the office. So they have to be able to hold a lot of energy to be able to confront all. They know that there are some populations or field of realities that absolutely hates them. If they show up in that town, if their name comes up in that network, they just get tarnished and trashed. I remember, with Harris, when she was in office as vice president, people would say the most awful things about her. She slept her way to the top, blah, blah, blah. She ain't nothing but this. the most awful things about Joe Biden, Donald Trump, right? But there are also networks, communal networks, fields of reality where they say the most positive things about them. They understand that. See, to operate at that level, you have to be initiated to understand the concept that I'm teaching you on this day. That's why they're able to still function while knowing and sometimes even hearing awful things about them. Like, okay, yeah, they just pencil you down to a demographic. They're already prepared. They go into the game prepared and knowing that, okay, there's going to be certain perceptions over here and there's perceptions over there. We're going to focus on the perceptions that's over there, that's compatible with our objective. We're going to leverage the energetics in that field of reality. Initiated people know. Initiated people know. So, class, I want you to understand that you have a choice on what field of reality you desire to tap into. That there are people that you have not even met, situations, opportunities that you have not even encountered, but it's in a different field of reality and it's not difficult to get there. That's the number one question. How do I get there? How much I got to pay to get there? It's going to be too hard. Oh, no. It actually starts with your thinking. It actually starts with you changing minor things in your pattern of behaviors. Yes, it's that simple. Your thinking and pattern of behaviors literally controls what field of reality you're going to arrive in. Your thinking and pattern of behaviors literally changes the version of people that you encounter. You encounter a different version of people. It changes your schedule. So you catch people at different times of the day when you change subtle things about you. You might be encountering negative connection in your life because you're encountering them at a certain time of the day and you're encountering a certain version of them that is going to have a negative impact on the version of you at that time of day. And by you, which is totally unrelated to them, saying, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym at this time, or I'm going to just simple things. I'm going to go for a walk, and I'm going to repeat this thing. I'm going to change minor things in my field of reality. I'm going to call in my community, my support system. I'm going to look for people who think like me. I'm going to execute and take action on those goals because there's always a goal. People at lower end fields, there's always a goal that they're not taking action on. There's always something that they know they want to do, something in their heart that they have chosen not to do, or they're delaying, or they keep coming up with reasons to delay. So they're staying in a field of reality that is literally working in opposition to their true objective and to their natural expression, what they want to express, what they want to do, the path they want to take. Understand? But changing those little minor things could place you in a more desirable field of reality. One may say, well, Eli, how long does it take? Well, how deep are you in the undesirable field of reality? Because if you're at a level 1, it's going to take some time, but you can still get there. It may take a little bit of time, but you can still rise it up. What you don't want to do is think that you're going to go to a level 1 or station 1 to a station 10 overnight. What you want to do is manage your expectations. If you're at station 1, get to station 2. And when you can honestly, legitimately say, okay, it's not perfect, but I know I'm at station 2 because it's a little bit better. I can tell. Then when you're at level 2, get to station 3. And when you get to station 3, all right, well, this is much better than 1. It's not that much. I'm still suffering. I'm still dealing with this negativity, but I'm going to get to station 4. That's how you have to look at it. That's the way you need to expect the gradual evolution of your experience to grow. Now, if you're already at a station 5, 6, 7, you can easily go up. And just like you can easily go up by making gradual changes within your pattern of behaviors, you could also easily go down. If in your field of realities. You could gradually go up by changing your pattern of behaviors, or you can go down by changing your pattern of behaviors. Understand? Depending on what station you are on. Okay? So I hope you all can comprehend this lesson. I think it's a very important lesson. The point is, there is a community of people who match you, places and things, not just people, places, things, energetics. I'll put it that way. There is an entire reality, parallel reality, I'll even call it, of energetics that matches the frequency that you desire to be on, and that matches the vision in your heart, that matches your goal, that matches the thing that you desire to do, the thing that you keep fantasizing about, the thing you keep thinking about. There is an entire reality that matches that. And that will allow you to leverage it to fulfill your objective. It is the law. It is the law. It is the law. But you must meet them in that field of reality. And when you meet them in that field of reality, and you do have those thoughts that sneak up from your experiences in the field of reality, 1, 2, 3, whatever, you have to have enough mastery over your mind to stay focused and to stay tapped into the reality that you actually want to enjoy. And that's actually fueling your personal evolution. You have to have mastery of mind to stay grateful of the field of reality that's actually accepting you, improving you, fueling you, feeding you. Because it's so easy, especially if you spent a lot of time at station 1, 2, 3, 4. It's so easy to develop a muscle and a habit of rethinking about things, reliving things that you don't have to rethink or relive. And if you keep doing that, all you're doing is dragging yourself back down to station 1, and it's going to show up through the energetics in different ways. Bad luck. You get kicked off the team, you get fired, they let you go, they lay you off. Something happens, right? That's another important lesson. The way the energetics work based on your pattern of behaviors and your frequency is it shows up in every way. It shows up in anything to put you in your proper place, to put you at your proper frequency. It is the law. It is the law. So it shows up in different ways. Your car breaks down. You get a flat tire. All of that. Not saying that this only happens to people who are decreasing to a lower field of realities, but I'm talking about the impact that it has on you, the effect that it has on your life. Specifically, there are some people who get a flat tire. It doesn't really have that much of an impact and effect. They can still live. They're still living at a certain level, but everything happens for a specific reason. Everything happens for a reason. Understand this concept that I'm teaching you to reach the goals that you have for yourself. And what I really want you to understand, that the world is huge. The world is big. Every perspective there is to have about you, people either have it about you already, or they would have it about you if you showed up in that reality. So why not show up in the reality, the field of reality that encourages you and that fuels your personal evolution? Why not show up to the best field of reality that you can possibly show up in? Why not? You have that choice. Glory. Thank you all for listening. This has been Eli Markus. I appreciate you for listening to this. If this broadcast has had a positive effect on you, you're more than welcome to leave a comment. And of course, you can go to Throne Mastermind Sessions to listen to more sessions as well. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us, support us. If this broadcast resonates with you and you would like to continue receiving my lectures to help encourage you on your journey, thank you, and I appreciate you, and have a wonderful day.
This Throne Mastermind session has concluded. Visit thronemastermindsessions.com to inquire about membership and to gain access to more Throne Mastermind sessions. All members may now exit the private session.